What is up, guys? It is done. 20 hours, about 1,000 players edited later. The roster is ready to go. It's been a crazy project to work on, but I'm so glad it's done. I know you guys are going to like it. So we're going to start first. I'm just going to show everyone where you can find it. You go to Community Files, Roster, and then if you just sort it by downloads here, you click X on that. And it's right here, 2017 Real, created by Chubby Dubs. That's my gamer tag. And we are now going to go look at the roster here. So far, I've gotten some really good feedback. These are all film-based, so it's all kind of my opinions. So if you don't like my opinions, you're not going to like my roster, but that's just how it is. So we're going to start here. We're just going to go through teams here. Rodgers, I had to go 99. I just think when you look at the guys that are a 99 in this game, he's definitely right there. Eddie Lacy, 84. Receivers, talked about moving Jordy Nelson's speed up. We have him at 93. Cobb went down a little bit. The receivers here, kind of a cluster of young talent. And you'll notice kind of 73, 74 is going to be even down to 72. That's kind of your base replacement level starter in this roster, which is definitely lower than rosters past or Madden's base roster. Mike Daniels, 93. That's his normal rating. Demarius Randall got a huge bump from 77 to 85. Definitely just like a Rookie of the Year candidate last year at corner for the Packers. Potential breakout year for Demarius Randall. Cam Newton at 92. I know this is one I'm going to get some criticism on, but I'm going to stick to it. I don't think Cam Newton is a top 5 quarterback. He's very flat-footed in the pocket, and you'll see here when you go to his traits, the sense pressure. This is something Madden originally had, but oblivious and forces passes. Basically, that's my problem with Cam Newton. Still a really good quarterback, but not as good as some of the other quarterbacks in this game. Jay Stu, a little bump. The receivers here, I really like Carolina's receivers, but I am lower on Kelvin Benjamin. So you'll see Philly Brown, Devin Funchess, pretty good in this game on this roster. A good O-line for the Panthers. And I'm going to try and pick up the pace a little bit here. We kind of hit some big impact changes there. Luke Kuechly, one of the 99s. Move on. Patriots, Tom Brady, 98. I wanted to get him to a 99 with Rodgers, but this game really makes it so it takes all of the players' traits into consideration, and with Tom Brady's speed, it's just really hard to get him to that 98. I think I have him at 99 medium and short accuracy. And Jamie Collins there. I'll go back, 96, huge bump for him. The corners, Malcolm Butler got a bump up. McCourty went down just a little bit. And onto the Raiders, Carr went down. Latavius Murray went down. Not very big on those guys. Cooper went up. And good pass blocking O-line. Khalil Mack, I took away his 99. I don't think he's there yet, but definitely potential to get there. David Amerson, really good corner. When you watch the Raiders this year, just look out for number 29. Really just kind of pops off the screen and makes a lot of plays. And he's really young, too. I think he's just about 24, despite coming over from Washington. All right, the Rams, quarterback issues, young quarterback. Todd Gurley goes up to 91. Receivers all right. O-line's going to struggle. Really good D-line. Aaron Donald, 98. Alec Ogletree, excited to watch him play this year. See that guy in Hard Knocks, just a total beast. TJ McDonald, 84. And the Ravens, Joe Flacco went down a little bit. Forsett, I had to change a lot. He's really slow in the original Madden rating. And in his breakout year, a couple years ago, he was fast. He hit the hole really hard and pretty elusive. Good ball carrier vision. I think Forte is going to be a lot more fun to play with this roster. Ravens defense getting a little older. Dumerville went down just a touch. Moved Mosley up a little. He was an 81 in the original roster, a little low. Didn't really do much with Suggs. The corners, they're going to have some trouble in the secondary this year, except for Eric Weddle. Redskins, I think the worst running back roster for the Redskins. I'm not a huge fan of Matt Jones. He could prove me wrong, but seems really raw. Don't expect much from Matt Jones this year. Preston Smith's a guy I really like here. Young breakout potential for Preston Smith on the opposite side of Ryan Kerrigan. Josh Norman I moved down to a 90. This guy's interesting. David Bruton. He is a long-term backup for the Broncos, but he definitely popped off the screen a lot with that Super Bowl defense now coming over, getting his first chance to start. So I have a lot of faith in him. He's an 80, which is pretty high. Drew Brees went up 96. He's the third quarterback in the game. Keep moving. John Kuhn now with the Saints. Cooks, I moved down a little bit. I like Cooks, but hasn't really shown anything to make me think he's a superstar. Kobe Fleener I moved down a lot. Don't really like his game. He's going to put up numbers this year, but not the best hands. Just kind of a raw, athletic guy. Pretty good O-line. Just brought in Paul Kruger. Cameron Jordan's a stud. I like Sheldon Rankins. I'm excited to see him play once he gets healthy. But very bad defense here for the Saints. The cornerback situation just rough. Jarris Bird, Kenny Vaccaro at safety. Seahawks, very good. I think the highest rated team. I encourage you guys not to pay too much attention to, by the way, Doug Baldwin moving down a good bit. Don't pay too much attention to the team ratings. They were kind of flawed when this game came out, and they're not really much different with my roster, just in terms of like the play now team rating. Sherman went up big time. But if you really want to see a better team rating, look at the franchise. Go into a franchise and start to pick your team. After you upload the roster, it's going to be much more accurate. For example, I think the Cardinals are like a 79, which is one of the worst teams if you go to play now. But they definitely go up in franchise. So Ben, 95. Le'Veon went up. Antonio Brown, 99. Had to do it. Martavis Bryant, guy, hard to know what to do with him, but he's going to be a lot of fun to play with. Made him faster. He's one of the fastest, most elusive big guys I've ever seen. Total freak athlete. It's too bad about Darius Green. Looks like he's not going to play until about week 6. The Steelers are interesting. They're going with these two young pass rushers, Bud Dupree and Jarvis Jones, over some more aged pass rushers. I like Shazier a lot. Lawrence Timmons still has a little bit in the tank. The corners are going to struggle. Mike Mitchell's a very good free safety. All right, and on to the quarterbacks. Osweiler, 76. Lamar, not a ton to see. Really deep receiving core for the Texans. Decent O-line. J.J. Watt, 99. Moved Cushing up. And Joseph down. Keep going. On to the Titans. I had a fun time with this receiving core. A really exciting young receiving core, especially as Tajay Sharp has potential to be the best rookie receiver right now, just based on how things are starting to look and opportunity. I also want to say we're going to start to see some more consistency on this channel. The idea now is going to be 2 videos a week. One will be my roster update video, something kind of like this, just kind of going through who went up, who went down, and then another video of a franchise playthrough, which will be more of a podcast style, just kind of talking about all things football. So on to the Vikings here. So unfortunate about Teddy Bridgewater. I live here in Minnesota, and fan base just devastated. Everyone so optimistic for this season. Messed up his knee pretty bad, so I lowered his athletic traits, and he's down to a 75. And I just kind of took the approach of how am I going to be thinking about Teddy Bridgewater going into next season, and he's going to have a lot to come back from, but I do like Teddy Bridgewater. AP went up to a 96. Going to be a lot of fun to play with. Just a freak power runner. The receivers, I like Stephon Diggs a lot. O-line. Everson Griffin, really impressive player. A lot more finely tuned as a pass rusher than I had originally thought when I went and watched some more film on him. Really good spin move as a pass rusher. Harrison Smith tied with Earl Thomas for the best safety in the game. On to the Bears. Jay Cutler, 81. Some people might think Cutler's a little high. I'm higher on Cutler than a lot of people. He's actually allowed to make calls for that offense, allowed to change the play. He's better at reading defenses than he gets credit for. And he at least has the reign over that offense, whereas even guys like Carson Palmer and Cam Newton, I don't think I saw them really call an audible all year. It was, you're going to throw here, and we're going to limit how many mistakes you can make. So on to the Bengals. Andy Dalton went down. Jeremy Hill and Gio Bernard. I think Gio Bernard is probably a little bit better of a running back, but Jeremy Hill, the 2-down back, I had a hard time with this. I had to put Hill above him, though, just because when you do play against the Bengals, Jeremy Hill is the starting running back. He's going to have the ball on 1st and 2nd down, so I made him higher just for the sake of realism, I guess. The Bengals, I like Tyler Boyd. A.J. Green went up. Very good offensive line. I believe I moved Geno Atkins up. Perfect, a stud. George Iocca went up. Onto the Bills. Not a ton to see with the Bills. Sammy Watkins definitely went up. I had him in my top 10 receivers video that is going to be coming out eventually, so a little spoiler there, but I love Sammy Watkins. So good at adjusting to the deep ball and just such a good athlete. If only he could stay healthy. Onto the Super Bowl champs, the Broncos. Simeon just named the starter, but as you can see, pretty big mess here. Quarterback C.J. Anderson, I like a lot. I had him as number 10 running back in the NFL. Onto the receivers, Demaryius Thomas, I had to fix. Didn't really play like Demaryius Thomas in the real Madden roster, just a little faster, more agile, but will drop more balls in this roster. D-line, very deep. Von Miller, one of the 99s. DeMarcus Ware, I think actually getting a little slower, but still an 86, very good. Chris Harris is tied for 3rd corner at 94. Love Chris Harris, just a do-it-all corner. The Browns, really excited to watch the Browns. I think I'm actually going to do my franchise playthrough with the Browns. This receiving core is very interesting. Terrell Pryor has really impressed me. His ability to adjust to the deep ball has made some really spectacular catches this preseason. And the defense, just all youth. They've just cut ties with all of their older talent. I think Joe Hayden and Tramon Williams are the 2 oldest players on their defense. which is pretty crazy. They even got rid of Andy Lee. On the Bucs, Jameis Winston, Doug Martin, 90. Mike Evans, 86. I think that's about right for him. Excuse me. On the O-line, DeMar Dotson, their best lineman. Defense, just kind of thin. Not really a lot to get excited about other than David and McCoy. I do like Kwan Alexander. He's got good potential, but the corners, we'll see what Hargreaves has, but just kind of veterans here. And then the safeties, not a whole lot. Chris Conte somehow still starting in the NFL. And the Cardinals, Carson Palmer, 88. And I'm going to make a prediction that he's going to be dropping pretty rapidly once the season starts. I think the Cardinals are going to struggle this year. We've seen Carson Palmer not look the best this preseason. A lot of people are picking the Cardinals to win the Super Bowl this year, and they're very good, but just look at what Vegas thinks about them. I think they're 4th or 5th in the NFC in terms of Super Bowl. I'm not a believer in Carson Palmer. It seems the smart people in Vegas aren't as well. And their defense is a couple injuries away from being a very average defense. I think it's an overrated star-studded defense, but definitely some holes in that Cardinals defense. Still a very good team, but I think the Seahawks, big front runners to win that division for me. Chargers, Phillip Rivers goes up. Keep going. I like Melvin Gordon this year. Still 77, which is one of the lower starting running backs, but I think he could be on his way up. The O-line just needs to stay healthy. Bosa finally healthy and excited to see him play. Brandon Mebane, an underrated D-tackle. Denzel Perriman looking for a big year. I like the Chargers a lot this year. I have some small bets on them to be successful. So excited to watch the Chargers this season. On to the Chiefs here. We got Alex Smith at an 82. Pretty good rating for him. Jamal Charles, the third running back in the game. Spencer Ware, so excited for him. Just going to be an absolute superstar in this league, I think. And it's not a popular opinion, but just very impressive last season when he got the opportunity. Receivers, not a whole lot. Travis Kelce went up. The O-line, pretty good O-line. The D-line, very good. Linebackers, awesome. Marcus Peters got a huge bump, 80 to 88. And Eric Berry. I think we're almost done here. I'll try and speed this up. Colts is basically Andrew Luck and just about nobody else. I feel so bad for him. That front office has done very little to help him out. The Cowboys, Tony Romo's injury rating now at like a 59 after seeing him go down. Zeke goes up. Dez goes up a lot. I talked about him in a video. Tyron Smith, such a good O-line. And McLean went down. Sean Lee went way up, though. Corners went down. Byron Jones went down. And the Dolphins, another team just very thin. Foster looked good. Here's the receivers. Devontae Parker still needs to figure it out. Reports of him being still looking very raw, not being a good route runner. Cameron Wake went up. Sue is Sue. And the corners, I think this is the worst cornerback core in the league. Rashad Jones at an 88, goes down a little bit, but still one of the best safeties in the game. Eagles, not really sure what's going on in Philadelphia. They still have a lot of talent. The O-line has potential. This D-line is really interesting, although Brandon Graham here, one guy I really need to talk about. He's a 93 in the original roster, and this is a guy that's not even listed as a starter on their website, on their depth chart. And I watch him play. He's very athletic, good at, moving the lineman back. I'm sure his PFF numbers for pressures is really high. That might explain why he had the high rating, but It just doesn't seem instinctive. And, he only has 23 sacks in 80 career games. So that's why he's sitting there at 77. If there's any Eagles fans that want to fight me on that, I encourage that. But just not too excited about Brandon Graham at a 93, the second best right end behind Khalil Mack. And the Falcons, just a kind of a thin defense, but who knows what's going to happen in Atlanta. Matt Ryan struggled last year pretty bad. Another pretty thin team here at the 49ers. Bowman, a total stud, one of my favorite players. And the Giants, pretty poor running backs. Odell went up to a 97. The O-line was a little overrated, I think, in the original rating. Jasper Brinkley, I like him. And a couple decent corners. Landon Collins is going to be a stud. All right, we got 3 more teams to get through. Blake Bortles, meh. I think he's another version of Jay Cutler. Jacksonville, very thin. Not expecting a whole lot. A lot of people think Jacksonville's going to have a big year. I don't. I think their defense is still going to struggle a lot. I think Blake Bortles, I found a stat, 29 of his 32 or 33 touchdowns were when trailing. So a lot of garbage time touchdowns for Blake Bortles. I need to see more from him before I think Jacksonville can even hit their over, which I think is 7.5 this year. I would take the under on that all day. And the Jets, very good year last year. So good offense, great defense. I think kind of underrated as a wild card team this year, especially with Fitzpatrick coming back and Revis back up to a 97. I don't think he's done. And Detroit, I've talked about Matthew Stafford, not a huge fan. The running backs are okay. Abdullah's got a lot of talent. Golden Tate, very good receiver. I like Marvin Jones to have a big year. The O-line is okay. Devin Taylor's good. Zeke Ansah is very good. Made him a little faster. Hodinata's not done. I moved him up. Levy, if he could come back healthy, that'd be huge for that defense. And Glover Quinn went way up. So mainly just guys on their defense going up. So that's it. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Definitely download the roster, play franchise with it. Let me know if anything seems off. And do me a favor and like it online. That would help me out a lot. And subscribe here on YouTube. Check out my Twitter at @TFG_football. And thank you so much, guys, for continued support. And I look forward to keeping these videos up. I can't wait for football. College football starts today, but we're a week away from the NFL. And I'm going to exit here by giving a little Vegas prediction that the Panthers are going to struggle. Denver's going to win a close game. So if you're excited for that game, I'm picking the Broncos. So that's it. See you guys next time.